I've always been fascinated by the tall, lanky coconut trees or palm trees, which honestly look quite alike from a distance, and how beautiful they look growing in groups in a forest or an island. What if I told you there was a way to recreate this group of coconut slash palm trees on a miniature scale at your home? Surprised, right? Behold the real miniature palm tree, Biophytum Sensitivum. It's commonly sold under the name South Sea palm or Südseepalme in German. It originates from Southeast Asia and loves to grow in humid conditions. This plant is sensitive to touch and bends and opens its branches and leaves over the course of the day. I came across this plant a while ago and instantly got an idea what to do with it. As usual, nature inspires and I create. That's what this channel is all about. So let's start building this miniature island. I found this piece of wood decor in a gift shop and thought it would be appropriate for my project. Since the system is going to be damp with soil and plants, I thought it will be a good idea to cover it with an insulating glue before I proceed. At this point, I should mention that this liquid glue is quite messy and it would be a good idea to wear gloves for this process. In my case, I'd forgotten, but nonetheless, lessons learned for the future. Also, since this thing has a very strong rubber smell, if possible, this process should be done outdoors. After covering the whole surface with the glue, it looked like this, and then I left it to dry for the next 24 hours. The next day, I gathered my supplies since my pre-preparation was over and I was finally going to start the construction of this beautiful little island. I find the usage of this green mat quite practical when working with plants and soil since it avoids spillage everywhere. Thereafter, I took out the miniature little palm tree from its pot and started removing the soil as much as possible. Care should be taken at this point in order to avoid damaging the root system. I started putting some soil on a wooden platform and started planting the tree, making sure it does not stay exactly at the center in order to give it a little asymmetric look which looks more natural. A few little taps with my DIY tool always helps since it removes any air pockets in the soil. I also added some perlite, which avoids the soil from getting too compact and helps in oxygenation of the roots. After this, I decided to do a little cleanup of my working space before proceeding to the next step, which was to add some rocks in order to create a natural landscape. I played around with stones of various shapes and sizes until I was satisfied with the look. I gave the soil a little spray down to dampen it for the planting of the moss. After this, I took various pieces of cushion moss from my moss propagation bin, cut them into size and start planting them in between the stones. I covered most of the rear portion of this island with moss and left some space open in the front to cover it with sand later. As for the outer circumference of the island, I had prepared some aqua soil paste, which is quite sticky in nature and it would help me to plant more moss on the sides. I used some taller cushion moss to cover the circumference of this island. Here is how it looks after planting all the moss. I'm really enjoying the build so far. I think a little bit of sand in the front is really going to complete the look. I gave the moss a little spray down, but I also decided to trim the moss on the outer circumference, which would fit better as per the scale of this build. In the end, I added some sand in the foreground to complete the look that I was aiming for. And finally, some more small stones to add more depth and details to this island and create a more natural look. I'm quite happy with the way this project turned out, and I think I'm going to call it the Tropical Island. I hope you enjoyed the making of this miniature island. Let me know in the comments what you think. Finally, I took some close-up shots of this build, and I hope you stick around for a few more seconds to watch the video until the end. So thank you everyone, keep liking, keep sharing, keep subscribing to my channel. This is the Plant Engineer signing off, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.